Hello everyone, this is Shiny Noctowls, and tonight I figured it'd be nice to stream some 2004Scape for you guys. Figured it'd be nice to do. Sorry I've been in and out streaming lately. I know I've said that past several months now, but this time around I've just been streaming, or the last couple days I've been streaming with another streamer I watch called Ken Kenobi. He's a Japanese YouTube streamer, and been playing a couple games with him, like Roblox, Fortnite. It's a game called Kill Streak, which is pretty much Fortnite but Roblox. And then I've also been playing How to Fish, which has been an interesting game actually. It's the first time I guess it just came out, but yeah, it was pretty interesting playing that with him and other people. But yeah, now I can finally get back to streaming with you guys. Let's see. Okay. Okay. See if I can get some. Brother. Okay, let me see. Are these two? Are these guys on or no? Seems like. Let me look. 450. 480. Okay. Okay, let's see. Hold on. There. It was a hot day today, but having good AC definitely helps, especially when working out, for sure. Give me a sec, guys. I'll be back. I'm just gonna quickly change. A sec, guys. I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Super ponage. Hey, we only have 9 levels left until 80 strength. We're actually... I mean, we still got a little ways to go because... You know, even though it's only 9 levels, once you get past 70, it starts to get a little bit tougher to get those levels up. Oh, there's someone literally named Caligula. One of the Roman emperors. Hold on, my friend. You know, the last couple of times I've been fighting thugs, it's been more, been easier to get a spot. I think there was only one stream where it was pretty tough to find a spot, but ever since then it's been pretty easy. Hold on. Devlin D. Yeah, that was crazy how I got back-to-back uniques where my 49th clue I got a Sarah page and then my 50th I got a Zammy page. I think I've gotten 3 uniques and 50 easy clues, which is actually not too bad. I also got a Highwayman mask in one of my 30th clues. Yeah, I can't find anyone yet. Oh, smoking PvP. Bingo. Yeah. I could trade you... full set. I can trade you the Sarah page and 80k. I can beat you. Okay, so it seems like I do have to do Horror from the Deep to use the Gothics book. Okay, we'll eventually get there. There are 4 pages. There's the eye patch. Alright guys, I'll be back in a wee bit. Just gonna change into something real quick. Alright, hold on. Alright guys, I'm back. Yeah, eventually we'll do Horror from the Deep. I might just, when I get XP lamps from now on, as I'm trading the 80 strength, I'll just keep putting it into agility, and I think I might be able to get 35 agility that way. Hey Wes, glad you could join the stream. No, you only need 35 agility, Wes. And the reason I'm at 32 is because I did some quests earlier. I think one of them was a tourist trap, and I think I got a whole bunch of agility that way, like a whole bunch of agility XP. But yeah, I just need 35 from Horror from Deep, so I can complete it. So I can use my Gothics book. Cause I got the pages now. I just need the book. Nah, no tribesmen yet, Wes. If I were to do anything for mediums, aside from those, or if I'd fight anything for clues other than hearts, aside from thugs, I probably would do. Lords could be one option, but I would really like to do Ice Warriors. Ice Warriors would be interesting. Yeah. I don't know, I like Easy's too, because Easy's, even though the black trimmed armor has gone down, it's still worth quite a bit if you do get it. I think it's actually, I don't know if it's gone back up, but yeah. Problem with the adamant trimmed stuff is it just doesn't really go for as much. Let's see. Yeah, I think with the Easies too, though, you can get wizard boots, I think. I don't know how much wizard boots are worth now, but oh, 5 to 6 mil. It's not bad. Yeah, I just don't want to do tribesmen, Wes. I saw RPG do them for a while. I don't know why. I don't feel like I'm a big fan of them. I don't know why. Nice thing about thugs too is that they're so close to the bank that just really easy to just go to edge and yeah. This is true, yeah. That's why I was thinking about Ice Warriors, but I know I know some people have advised against Ice Warriors, but I don't know. It's just, at least to me, it would feel like it'd be interesting to do. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know all the enemies that drop mediums in old school. I know there's the ice warriors, there's the guards, I guess there's the tribesmen. I don't know who else you're off to, but... Oh yeah, I've heard about Yorks. Hey, we got another clue scroll. That is number 51. Yeah, I just feel like even with the black armor trimmed going down, I still feel like it still has a certain appeal to it. It's kind of a shame adamant armor just trimmed isn't worth as much because it looks pretty cool as well, but I just don't know why people just don't really go with it as much. Oh yeah, I forgot. I need to wash some clothing. I washed most of the clothing I needed to wash today, but I got a few more things I need to put in the washer. Hope you're enjoying the stream, by the way. Yeah, thugs aren't bad at least. Yeah, thugs are nice. Thugs, training at thugs is kind of been like how I've been training at blue dragons and greater daemons for a while now. I feel like if I wasn't doing thugs, it'd probably be pirates. But the problem with pirates is that they don't drop clues, which is kind of a shame because I think pirates would drop clues, but. Yeah, let me check here real quick. Yeah. if anyone wants to buy it. Might be hard to find someone. Eventually. Alright, I'll be back, guys. Hold on. Yeah, I think so. A lot of people have been in Sears lately. I'm back, guys. Alright. So you guys can hear me well enough? Yeah, no one's... yeah. I think a lot more people are buying it. Wait, isn't there... no. You have to go... I don't know why... yeah, at least I straight sold the Sarah page 3 though. That was nice. I was able to trade it for 20k, and then I only had to pay 80k for the Gothics pages. Yeah, if we get another unique, like, back to back again, where it's like 3 uniques in a row, that's gonna be crazy. May not be the case, but we'll have to see. Oh, a fair amount of people are in Draenor. Wow. I don't know what they're doing here, but yeah. Oh. We'll have to see. I was streaming with Ken. He's a Japanese YouTuber that I've been watching for a while now. I put it in a post in my YouTube channel of the stream I was in with him if you want to watch quickly, but yeah, it's been fun. Or it was fun, yeah. See, I don't... You know what I'm gonna do then? There it is. I love giving out the eye patches. Ooh, Blackberry or... Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Ken actually, he's gotten a lot better over the time I've known him. Well, in the sense that, I mean, I know some people kind of, I don't want to say they harass him, but they get on his case about him not doing what he calls red pill content anymore. And I'm kind of happy he kind of went into gaming, not just because I like his gaming content and I like doing it with him at times, but just because he said that doing the red pill stuff just made him unhappy after a while. And yeah, ever since he's been doing the gaming stuff, he's been liking it. It's just he's been losing some of his subscribers, and I've just been trying to tell him that you just gotta do what speaks to you. Like, you can't just because I know he says, you know, like even today when he was streaming, he was like, why do most people just watch my IRL streams, me walking around Japan, but they won't watch my gaming streams? And I just say, so you just gotta do what speaks to you. You know, if you want to do gaming streams, you can do gaming streams. If you want to do walking around Tokyo, you can do that as well. Just do what speaks to you, you know. Even if you may not have as many viewers from one or the other, just do what speaks to you. Yeah, that was an alright clue, but yeah. I think he kind of knew that when he switched his content, but I think I think he's ultimately been happier though, and I don't think he minds doing the still doing the streams, walking around Tokyo and Japan and stuff, because he still does like fun stuff, like talking to other people and just, you know, sometimes, you know, stuff like that. But he just doesn't do the the very political stuff anymore, or it was just burning him out. Like, I guess he just, and honestly, I don't blame him, because if someone only watches you because, you know, you just talk about politically divisive stuff every stream, then, you know, it's probably better to just, you know, find people that like your content, you know, also for you as well. But yeah, it's kind of, I kind of felt bad for him, because, you know, I think he thought some of the people were going to stick around, but they just ended up kind of not. Yeah, he's changed a lot. He's changed a lot, though. I think partly with me too. Like, I think I've helped him. I know I've told you guys a couple times that I have some Japanese ancestry in my, you know, ancestry, no pun intended. I think he understands why I call myself Rhinebu Japanese and Celtic healer now, because I have a bit of Japanese in me, but I also have like Celtic ancestry and a lot of other things too. I don't know. I think I've kind of helped him, and of course other people have helped him too, obviously. But I think he's just kind of, he's become more open-minded. He's become more, and I think some people don't like that actually. I think some people wish he stayed, you know, the way he was, like, and yeah, it's kind of like, it's almost like some people want to kind of like drag him down, or even use him as a, and I don't like saying that, because I think he kind of got that as well, but like, I think Ken now, like, last stream he just talked about, like, he wants to try to make people happy, he wants to bring people together, you know. Yeah, I think he's done with that stuff. I think, um, and honestly, I'm happy for him, because he was getting into some pretty crazy stuff when he was doing the pretty political content. Thankfully, though, like, there have been some people watching his gaming streams, and of course, you know, that have shown him support with that as well, which I'm happy for him, like, regarding that. And of course, I don't mind doing some gaming content with him. Like, he has a good heart deep down. I just think he's just had to. It's not like he's had to learn, but it's kind of like one of those things where, you know, you just. I think he's learned. You know, you just gotta honor who you are. You know, you can't just. You can't just. I'm not saying he was trying to be a people pleaser, but it's kind of like. You just gotta be yourself. Like, that's the best way I can say it. Yeah. Yeah, and I think when he does the content now, walking through Japan, it's actually like pretty nice content. Like, he's just like either doing videos like eating, which not wrong with that, or he just strikes some lighthearted conversations with other people on the street. His last couple of or his last few streams of him being around Japan has actually been pretty fun. He went to the Pokemon Center and bought some Pokemon cards. He talked with some people. I don't know. It might have been Shibuya or somewhere else, but yeah. Yeah, the last few, like, his videos have definitely have gotten better, and I think even people have said that as well, that they really enjoy his new content. Um, but it's been nice getting to know him though. Like, it's like, you know, just with the gaming, and I think he, at least when it comes like, because we've done like a couple streams for like a few hours where we're playing together and stuff, but yeah, like I think he's just gotten better. Like he's just like not just content wise, but just even like mentally. Like I feel like mentally he feels better. Yeah, there was one guy, I think he got mad at him not doing his political, at least the political content like he wanted Ken to do anymore, so he just ended up calling him Soy Boy, and he painted him as like a yellow caricature, and he's like, guys, I'm not this yellow. And then he was also saying I'm not a descendant of Genghis Khan and all that. And I feel for him a little bit. I do. I think he ended up making the yellow caricature joke. Like he made like a yellow caricature in How to Fish. He's like, you guys think I'm this yellow? All right, I'm gonna make a, yeah. How much Japanese are you? Well, like the best way I tell people of how Japanese I am is I'm not a hafu. Hafu's like half Japanese. I'm not a quarter fu. Quarter fu is like quarter Japanese, and I prefer to say Rainbu versus eighth fu, because to me, like once you're past a half fu and a quarter fu, I feel like Rainbu is easier for me to explain it to people. And also, like I was trying to tell Ken, because I have an uncle, I call him Uncle Cherokee Japanese Herman, because I feel like he's like a mix of Japanese, German, and he's been with the Cherokee in North Carolina for over 40 years. So Ken was asking me, he's like, is your uncle Native American? Is he Japanese? And I kind of told him he's sort of like all the above, because, you know, his maternal grandmother looked like a geisha. Like she literally looked Japanese. Like if you saw a photo of her, you know, you wouldn't, at least in my opinion, I wouldn't think she would be Native American. I would just think she's like straight up Asian or Japanese. But I guess that's the thing, like some Native Americans look more Asian, like the Eskimos for sure. And that's kind of how she looked a little bit closer to. But that's the thing too, is like the Japanese have different looks as well. Like some Japanese, like the indigenous Japanese, can look a bit more like Native American Mexicans, and then the Yayoi, or the people who look more like modern Japanese, look more like the Eskimo, or the Eskimo before the Eskimo. So it's kind of like, I just say Rainbu. It makes it easier that way, because I don't really like saying eighth fu, because it's kind of at that point it's kind of like, I don't know, like I think once you're past like a quarter, like I feel like it's just better to say, hey, this is just one part of my rainbow ancestry. At least for me, like, you know, I mean, I guess people can also say like, you know, like they're 10% Irish or they're 15% Irish or something like that. But I think after a certain point, it's like, yeah, it's definitely part of my rainbow ancestry. So yeah, it's like that's the best way to describe it. It's like, because I also have like I was trying to tell Ken and other people in the server that were in that I'm related to like nomadic Asians from the medieval period too. Like they were called the Ruran, Joron, Avar, Senpi Senpai, or at least that's what I call them. And they're pretty much genetically related to Japanese via ancient Northeast Asian ancestry. And also, it seems like the Eskimos and the Eskimos before the Eskimos who came later to the Americas, they also had ancestry from them as well. But yeah, they came to Europe in the medieval period. They went to Hungary and other parts of Europe, and I saw like a PCA plot with DNA, and it showed Japanese in the admixture because, or in the proximity admixture, because I think it's the shared ancient Northeast Asian ancestry. And so, I mean, I, I'm gonna try to see how I can explain it. Technically, if you want to say it like that, you can say it like that, but I prefer to say Rainbu. Because in Japanese, they probably would say, like another way to say it would be eighth fu. So they would probably say your eighth fu would just be like an eighth Japanese, but I don't know, I just prefer to say Rainbu because I think after a certain point it's like, I kind of become like an anime character where it's like, it's like, all the anime characters, that can look very different, like in Bleach, but they all can still speak some form of Japanese. That's what I kind of feel like. I feel like I still got some Japanese in me, but yeah. Yeah, I just feel like Rainbu, like when I say Rainbu, by the way, because Ken was trying to understand what I meant by Rainbu. So Rainbu can also mean rainbow in Danish and Norwegian, but I say Rainbu because I feel like it fits like phonetically, because you could say like I'm not a hafu, I'm not a quarter fu, and some might say a fu, but I prefer saying a Rainbu, and so like that's like the best way I can describe it for my ancestry. Because the thing with the Native Americans too is most of them are genetically related to ancient Northeast Asians anyways. Like on average, they're like 2/3 ancient Northeast Asian. Now, with some groups, like I think if you go to the Amazons, for example, or some natives in South America, I think they got maybe I think it might be a little bit closer to half because for some of them, because some of them were closer to ancient Northeast or ancient North Eurasians. And ancient North Eurasians is just a population that kind of formed in Siberia that wasn't technically Asian, or at least not ancient Northeast Asian. And they went to the Americas, and then they also went into Europe, and then that ancestry peaks in Northern Europeans like Norwegians, the ancient North Eurasian part. But yeah, like it also is in Celtic populations as well. But yeah, so like, but yeah, on the whole, like on average, like most of the natives are 2/3 Asian, anyways, ancient Northeast Asian, and then the rest of it is really connected to Europeans. So my mother looks very Indonesian, and I have dark eyes, hair, but she's more dark skinned than me. Yeah, that's the thing with Japanese too. Like some Japanese can have a darker complexion, some have a fairer complexion. I know some people, say, are Japanese white, and I tell myself like, I don't think that's how the Japanese see themselves. I think maybe they might say some of them have fair skin, and then others have different skin tones, but I think they still realize that they're obviously, Asian, or, at least for me. I mean, that's what I think when I think of Rainbow Japanese. You could, I could have a, you know, Japanese ancestor or related ancestry that could have had fair skin, but they obviously still would be part Asian. Maybe, yeah, I think maybe what people get confused about is people think that you can only have fair skin if you're European, but Asians can have fair skin too, and even I guess technically Africans, because you look at the indigenous North Africans like the Berber, Amazigh, some of the Canarian people. Some of them are mainly North African, and they have fair skin. Yeah, I just think it's something that, yeah, it's like, yeah, I think maybe that's what they don't understand. It's like you can be Asian and you can have a fair skin tone, but or whatever skin tone you know that you have. But yeah, at least for me, anyways, like I just tend to see Asians as Asians. Like regardless of their skin tone, like I don't um yeah, I don't know. I think Koreans and Japanese share the most genetically, don't they? Yeah, they do. What I noticed though is that like I was sharing this with another person I've been speaking to named Damon in the Japanese Discord. Ooh, excuse me. He's mainly of Jomon descent, and those are the indigenous people of Japan that have been in Japan for 18,000 years. Is I was telling him that because he was getting a little bit confused about you know um, the connection of like the nomadic Asians that I'm also connected to, like the Jiron, Avar, Ruran, Senpai, Senpai, and I was telling him that before the Kofun period in Japan, which I think the Kofun period is when Japan mainly became continental East Asian, or mainly Yellow River farmer, or some say Han-like ancestry. The Yayoi period, which I guess started in 900 before Common Era, they were largely ancient Northeast Asian, which was like 40 to 65%. Um, but they weren't Mongols, or I think some people think that it's like Ken was saying, you know, just because I look a certain way doesn't mean I'm a descendant of Genghis Khan, and I don't think people realize the ancient Northeast Asians kind of have a lineage of well, for example, the Ruran, Avar, Jadon, Senpi, Senpai. The reason why they went to Europe and probably the Americas and other parts of the world is they were, you know, um, well, they kind of had a spat with the Gok Turks. So the Gok Turks are like the ancestors of the Turks, and it kind of makes me think of like, you know, the Ruran, Jiron, Senpai, Senpai, you know, were the like it's almost like I don't know why I think of like a Japanese company where the Ruran, Jiron, Avar, Senpai, Senpai is the employer, the Gok Turks is the employee, but the Gok Turks kind of took it too far where not only did they want to fight against the Ruranjiron Avar Senpai Senpai, but then they also wanted to say, now we're gonna subjugate you. And it was almost like what the Mongols wanted to do to the samurai. And yeah, they just the Avars or the Ruranjiron Senpai Senpai. The reason why I call them that is because I feel like that they have a shared ancestry with the samurai through like ancient Northeast Asian ancestry. And I think even Damon can see it now, because I think at first he was a bit confused, but then he was like, well, if they both shared Amur River ancient Northeast Asian ancestry, then yeah, they would be related. So yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I know it's one of those things where um I would have never known about that if I hadn't looked into my ancestry. Like I would have never known about the extent of nomadic Asians coming into Europe in the medieval period and how they affected the Japanese and even the Americas. And yeah, I think I think he understands me better now. I think Damon understands me better now. I think they understand now why I call myself Japanese, because like even though technically I don't have like an ancestor that had immediate Japanese citizenship, if that makes any sense. I do have ancestry that is related to them, you know, connected to the Jomon, because Jomon ancestry also came to the Americas, you know, probably over 10,000 years ago through the maternal ancestry. And then Yayoi ancestry also came a bit later as well through the additional ancient Northeast Asian ancestry. So yeah, I know it kind of sounds complicated, but yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think Ken, what he says, if he connects with the culture, and he told this to me, like if he connects with the culture, or if you connect with the culture, and you know, I think he understands like the ancestry, like why it makes sense. Because I told Ken, like literally Ken, some of the Native American Mexicans look like some of the indigenous Jomon, and then I guess some of the Patagonians as well, and then maybe some Peruvians and some of the Eskimos and Pacific Northwest people tribes like look more closer to the Yayoi people. And I think he understood it, like, and then I've kind of also shown him photos of myself, and I really do look like some of the Yayoi Japanese. I think it's just with that ancient Northeast Asian ancestry, and but yeah, like I think he gets it. I think Damon took a little bit longer. Damon was like, well, I know Ken has his own views, but he wasn't completely convinced at first with me. He was like, I'm not sure, but then after a while, he was like, okay, like, I think I understand you now, and but I think that's just because like he just I don't know. It just took him a little bit more time, but yeah. And then when I spoke to Kaya, she's another Japanese YouTuber, kind of like Ken. She was kind of like, even if you only have a bit of Japanese in you, like if it's if it's still in you and you connect with us so much, it's part of who you are. That gave me more strength as well. So it's kind of like one of those things that I think on the whole, I think most other Japanese, I think when they tell them that I'm Rainbow Japanese, I think they understand it. Like I think they and I think even Damon, like I think he understands it as well, but it's kind of like it's kind of like because I was telling him like Damon, like in the PCA plots, like Japanese literally shows up as one of the close groups to the Ruran, Jodol, and Avar Senpai Senpai, and even I guess some of the Huns who were undercover Ruran, Jodol, and Senpai Senpai, that they weren't actually Huns, but they were really like the same Ancient Northeast Asian Ruran, Jodol, and Avar Senpai Senpai. And because the Japanese was showing up and not Koreans and Chinese, and what he was saying is, well, the Japanese had to come from somewhere. They had to come from somewhere. And I think when he means Japanese, he probably means Yayoi people. But yeah, it's like it's a lot, because even the Japanese themselves are a mix of different people. They're not just one ethnic group. Despite what people think, there's the Jomon. They've been in Japan for 18,000 years. There's the or I guess even longer in some cases, and then there's the Yayoi who came 3,000 years ago, and then there's the Kofun, which I guess are really related more to not only Han Chinese, because I don't want to give them all the credit, but and probably the Japanese don't want to either. But other continental East Asians that also came to Japan as well, like 1,700 years ago. So yeah, there were just a lot of different migrations to Japan. Yeah, my mom was born in Papua New Guinea. Oh, neat. Yeah, I know Ken was saying last video he spent 8 years in Spain actually, which is actually pretty cool. And he was eating I think he was eating like a Nigerian dinner. Like I think he was eating jollof rice, and I think that's what he called it, and some chicken. And I think he said when he was in Malaysia, because I think he was in Malaysia for a little while, and he played soccer with the Malaysians. He said that I guess some Nigerians were there, but he made a joke, and he said like but I think he actually meant it. Like he said, a million years ago or however long ago, like he felt like his ancestors were from Africa. And if you look at the Jomon ancestry, those being the original people of Japan, if you look at their Y-DNA, they kind of split from the ancestors that would eventually be sub-Saharan Africans, ancient Egyptians, indigenous North Africans, Canarians, 70,000 years ago. So it's pretty crazy stuff. I think when I told him that, I think he found it neat. But yeah, it's like you know, I think Ken, like, I think he's gone from, you know, because I think Ken initially, like, he felt like he was trying to find a way to save Japan, or what he felt like, you know, would save Japan, but he didn't know how. But he's gone from that to, like, you know, I want to bring people together. I want people to come together, and I think his message is like, you know, there's a difference between not liking someone because they're generally causing problems versus not liking someone because they're foreign. And yeah, I think deep down, Ken has a good heart. It's just, I think sometimes I don't want to say like he wants to be liked by others. Well, of course, like I think all of us, you know, like being liked a certain way, but I think like what Ken has had to learn is that, you know, you can't always just fit a mold, uh, fit a mold even if it doesn't speak to you, just so people like you. Like I don't know. Like I think he's learned to like be more himself, I guess, if that's the best way to say it. But yeah, like, honestly, the last couple times I've seen videos of him in Japan, it's been a lot quieter there now. Like, because I have wanted to visit Japan again, but I was kind of waiting for it to calm down because it was a little bit crazy for a while. But it's calm again, and I've been thinking of eventually visiting again. I just would have to think when. You know, I know some people may not believe this, but I feel like out of the three main East Asians, like out of Japanese, Koreans, Chinese, I think Japanese are most open, which I know some people might think is a shocker, but but there's a reason why, because I feel like despite what you might see in media, I feel like Japanese tend to be, like, when it comes to talking to other people, I think they tend to be, at least you know, out of Koreans and Chinese, I think they tend to be the most open. After Japanese, I feel like Koreans are next, because I feel like Koreans are more expressive and outgoing than people think. I feel like the Koreans really do like, some of them I feel like really do like adventure. So I feel like that they really are pretty good with that. I know sometimes Koreans aren't always liked as much, but I feel like deep down, like, you know, some of them definitely do mean well. Like once you can get past like a seemingly icy exterior. And then I think last is Chinese, because I think Chinese, I'm not saying they're not open, but I don't really see many videos of Chinese really talking to other people. But maybe that's just me. I just feel like the Japanese and Koreans, or well, Japanese for sure. I feel like Koreans are in the middle. Koreans are like, I mean, they can be open, but I feel like it kind of. I feel like with them, you have to melt, like, you have to, like, thaw the ice with them first. Like, if you can do that, then they kind of warm up. But yeah, Japanese for sure, I think, tend to be the most open. And then I guess Vietnamese, like I've known a few Vietnamese, but I feel like the Vietnamese, I'm not saying that they're like the Chinese, but I feel like the Vietnamese, like the one main difference with them is they can be pretty sunny. Like they have like a sunny personality. And when I mean sunny, it's kind of like they can be very joyful or very I don't know how you say it. Jolly. Maybe that's another way to say it. What about I don't know about North Korea. I don't know about North Koreans, but South Koreans, maybe that's a better way to say it. I think South Koreans, I think tend to be can be fairly adventurous. Yeah, I feel like adventurous is a good way to describe them. I don't know, like if I mean I guess it could be outgoing too, but I think adventurous, maybe that's the way to describe it. I feel like with the Chinese, like out of the three, I think they really tend to, and maybe I just don't know enough Chinese, but I just feel like they kind of tend to, I don't want to say like they tend to stick to their own, but it's kind of like I just feel like the Japanese like are more willing to like strike a conversation with you, like even though some people like say like Japanese are very shy. I think deep down Japanese can be pretty bold as well once they're comfortable with you. Like Ken, for example, he can be pretty bold. And you know, I guess it is part of me too, and sometimes I can be, I guess, shy in my own way as well, but yeah, but I think Japanese can be, you know, pretty like, it can be pretty bold, but like in a good way as well. Like it just kind of depends. Um, but like Koreans, South Koreans, like I feel like they have like an adventurous spirit. Like I feel like like they don't, kind of like the Japanese. I feel like they don't mind like experiencing other cultures. I feel like the Chinese, and some Chinese, and maybe I just don't know enough of them, but it's just kind of like I feel like they kind of just like I don't really see that many videos of Chinese talking to other people, to be honest. I mean, of course they do talk to other people, but it's kind of like I almost feel like it's more like a controlled environment. Like, yeah, or with Japanese, it's kind of like it can be pretty much anywhere, and I think to an extent that some Koreans are like that too. So. Yeah, that could be it too. That could be it too, but I think even without Western, so-called Western influence, I think the Japanese and Koreans would probably still be the same way, or at least similar. Like, yeah, yeah. No, I think it's, you know, I think the other thing too is one of the main differences with the Chinese and Koreans versus the Chinese or Japanese and Koreans versus the Chinese is that the Japanese and Koreans have ancient Northeast Asian ancestry, or a little bit more of that, and those would be related to nomadic horsemen. So I think by that very nature of being a nomadic horseman, you know, it makes sense why connecting with other cultures may not be as tough. Where with the Chinese, like some of them have the nomadic horseman ancestry too, the ancient Northeast Asian, but I think they more so are connected to the Yellow River farmer ancestry. So maybe they're not used to having as much of that nomadic spirit, I guess. Um, yeah, I think that could be part of it. That could be part of it for sure. I think the Chinese will eventually get better in time. I just think uh, I don't want to say like they have a chip on their shoulder, but it's kind of like um, it's just something that yeah, I don't know. It's like they just may not be used may not be used to um what do you say it? Like interacting with a lot of different energies. Maybe that's a way to say it. I'll be back though. I'm gonna put the clothing I have from the washer into the dryer. I'm back. Just had to put some clothing in the dryer. Yeah, that could be part of it too. I think that's why, like for example, Taiwan. I think ethnically, I think they're almost like I'm not saying they're genetically identical to the Chinese in China, but I think they're both like connected a lot, mainly to the Han ethnicity. But yeah, like, and I honestly don't know how open the Taiwanese people are. I haven't really seen that many videos of Taiwanese interviewing people like, or talking to other people like Japanese and some Koreans. So maybe it might just be part of their culture, you know. I think, because I feel like despite what some people might say about Japan being a very closed-off country, I think Japanese tend to be more open than people think. Like I think it's just kind of something they just may not fully realize. Ken would probably say ninja, you know, or ninjas. Yeah, he did a 24-hour live stream doing Naruto ninjutsu. That was fun. No, I still feel for Ken because he's like, because when that guy painted Ken, like, I don't know why he painted him so yellow, and he was like, "Bro, I'm not that yellow." It's like, you know, but you know, Ken has an interesting way of poking fun at things. Like even if people try to get under his skin, like he literally made his how to fish character like yellow. Simpson. Yeah, no, he's funny. I think what helps too is that the Japanese really are like a mix or like a mix of different Asians. I think that's what people don't realize. I think people don't realize. Some people think Koreans, Chinese, Japanese are all the same, but that's not. That's not really how it is. I guess it would be like saying like all Europeans are the same, which isn't true either. Of course, you know, there's a reason why Europeans are called Europeans, but there's obviously different ancestors. Right. Yeah, that situation in North Korea, though. Ro- it's crazy how Rocket Man stuck, but yeah, that's a crazy situation. I think that's another reason why Ken is speaking about coming together, because I think like he kind of realizes you know a lot of conflict in the world, and he probably thinks to himself, you know, instead of people always fighting each other, you know, it might help if we actually come together. I think that's also why he kind of shifted his content, and honestly, I think it's a good thing. Like, you know, I think for example, like at least in Japan, you know, if the South Koreans, the Japanese, Filipinos, I don't know if the Vietnamese would join, or of course, you know, I know recently the U.S. where I live, you know, things have kind of been a little bit more shaky as of late, but you know, if we can keep that unity together, if we can still work as a team, you know, I think you know, we'd be good to go. But I think that's why bridging, you know, spending time bridging cultures can help, and I think that's what Ken is trying to do as well. And I guess I'm kind of that bridge as well, and I think he kind of sees that, and I think he appreciates it. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's you know, better that you know we learn to work together, you know. And I think the nice thing too is I think most people love Japanese culture anyways. So I mean, of course, there's some questionable things, obviously, but I think most people like Japanese culture. I think a lot of people like Korean culture. I'm not as crazy about Koreans as some other people are. 'Cause I know some people really love. Was it? Um, so, not it's not the K dramas. It's I think it's like K-pop. Yeah, but yeah, no. But I think it's good though that some people do really enjoy the Koreans as well, because they have an interesting culture too. I think the reason why I've sometimes tuned in and out of Korea is things were getting crazy over there with Johnny Somali. I mean, they were getting crazy in Japan as well, but I think in Korea it was even worse. Let's see. Yeah, my dentist actually, he really likes Korea. I think my mom does too. I think he recently went to Korea for a little while and he had a good time. One thing I do like about the Koreans, like the one video content I do like that they do is they have a channel. It's called World Friends, where they have people from all different cultures and they're all talking to each other and sharing their languages and cultures and all that. And I think that's pretty cool. I think it just comes from the nomadic kind of nomadic Asian spirit, which is Japanese, of course, have as well. Japanese may even have it a little bit more. I know some of the Koreans, you know, may not want to hear that, or they'll be like, "What are you talking about?" But yeah, it's no, they both definitely have it in their own way. But yeah. I think the thing with China, and I think some of the Chinese are recognizing this now, is that I'm not saying some Chinese only look out for Chinese, but it's kind of like I'm trying to see how to explain it. Like, I feel like, you know, like some of the other Japanese have come to realize that it's better to work as a team, even if that team is like, even if at first they may not be used to working with such a diverse group of different people. I think it's better doing that than just one group just saying, you know, you're just gonna do everything, you know, we want you to do. And I'm not saying the Chinese are like that exactly, because I know within their own country they have different ethnic groups as well, but I don't know, I just feel like it's like, even like, I think my Vietnamese friend struggled with that too. I think he kind of had a mentality similar to some of the Chinese, where all Asians are the same, but that's not really how it works. Especially if you know the ancestry of the Japanese, it's different waves of Asians that mix with each other, and yeah, it's just one of those things where I think the Japanese and even Koreans to an extent, because I know some people will think the Koreans are very homogenous as well, but I think the thing with the Koreans is I think they have that nomadic Asian spirit like the Japanese, so I think they can probably appreciate the interaction with different cultures as well. No, thank you. Hello, Matt. Glad you could join the stream. Hope you're doing well tonight. In some ways, I almost feel like sometimes it can be hard for the Japanese and Koreans, though, like when it comes to the Chinese, because even though the Japanese do have the ancient Northeast Asian ancestry related to like nomadic Asians, like you connect to the Ruranjit or Navar Senpai and the samurai, so kind of like the horseback Asian cultures and also the Jomon as well. You know, they still have that continental East Asian farmer ancestry. And even though it's not just all Han, because you know some of it was also connected to, I guess, some of the Yayoi who weren't necessarily ancient Northeast Asians, or I guess it'd be the East Asian farmer component of that ancestry. I think I don't know, it's just like, I feel like it's kind of one of those things where, like, I think deep down they would rather things to be in harmony than things to not be, than things to be out of harmony, but, oh, thanks, man. Yeah, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, Matt, Wes was just talking with me about ancestry for a little while, and I was telling him the last couple of streams I was streaming with a Japanese YouTuber named Ken Kayobi, and we were playing a game called How to Fish, and it was pretty fun. Yeah, I got some new or actually the my 49th and my 50th clue. I got a Sarah page on 3 on the 49th clue, and then I got a Zammy page 4 on my 50th, and so it was like a back-to-back unique unique clues, and those, you know, clue rewards, and they were pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, I know that magic has gone up. Swarm. I think after this inventory, guys, I'm gonna end the stream. Oh, I feel like I should probably get a good sleep tonight. Let's see here. I'm getting a fair amount of nature runes, which is nice. Oh wow, one more clue scroll, I guess, for the night. Oh yeah, now. Always appreciate the law runes. So glad I found. So glad Magnus is willing to do that. Always love going out the eye patch. And the occasional strange fruit. Wow, I have a ton of nature runes now. Yeah, I just figured that would be a nice free gift. I don't know how much they're going for now, the sapphires. Oh, it's around 12k for a set. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. It's also kind enough to give me 100 blood runes, so yeah. I feel like that. Black full helm, eye patch, range free. Search presence. I don't remember what house is that with. Definitely. Not sure fireman's. Something. Maybe I can find someone to buy this black battle axe for me. I don't know, how much does much is it out for? Yeah, I feel like that's fair. I feel like some people just like love the black weaponry, black armor, like fashionscape. Like, it can look nice. Oh wait. Oh, that was a really nice one. Oh yeah, I forgot. let me give him this. Yikes. It's yeah, I have to just think, where can you get a black battle axe aside from the boots? Can you actually get it from the store? Oh yeah, you actually... Yeah, that's neat. Many ways to it. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna end the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream, hope you guys had fun watching, and I think I'll be off for now. Take care guys.